Hello and welcome back to the Tim Weichselbaum Show. My name is Tim Weichselbaum. I am 32 years old, and this recording is coming to you on 12:38 a.m. in the morning. Yes, I am recording this at 12:38 a.m. That's a pretty not crazy time to be recording a podcast. I don't know. I don't have a sleep schedule yet still as of my life. I've never had like a sleep schedule. That's just not something I do. Like somebody like asked me like, "Hey, what sleep schedule are you on?" I was like, I don't know. I just depends what's happening, man. Like I don't know. If there's I don't have a sleep schedule, man. And that's supposedly not good. For optimal sleep quality, you're supposed to have like a set time that you go to bed every day for optimal sleep quality. Anyway, this is a podcast where I talk about... Did I mention that my name is Tim Weichselbaum? Yes. My name is Tim Weichselbaum. This is episode 41. And this is my podcast. And we're coming to you... I already told you when we're coming to you. We're coming to you when we're coming to you. Who cares when I'm recording this? Who gives a crap? Anyway, this podcast is about... It used to be about comedy, but now it's just about finance and getting old and having security against the economy down when it goes down, inflation. So yeah, it's basically about like finance now. But not just that. Also about self-improvement and sobriety and boring, just like trying to like become something. That's it. So like, I used to be like, okay, this is my podcast where I talk about only comedy, but I don't do it anymore, man. I don't do it anymore. I haven't quit. Like I don't think I've ever declared that I'm like quitting something in my, like I don't do that. I just stopped doing it, and then somebody might like ask me 6 months, hey, whatever happened to that? Are you still doing that? And I just go, no, man, it's lame. Of course not. I moved on. You know, like everything is, who just does the same thing like for their whole lives, or like even for like an extended period of time? Like I always like look down on people who just do the same hobby for like years and they just don't get bored of it. It's like, did he get bored of it after you caught like 2 fish? It's like, okay, I know how to catch fish. I don't need to ever do it again. That's not the type of hobby that I could do where it's just like, okay, I did it. Now what? The thing that would make fishing fun is just the act of like going on a boat and just chilling out, maybe jerking off. I don't know, because you're alone. You know, maybe you have one of your buddies there. Just like it's a very thing to do just to kind of like relax. But the whole catching the fish part, it's like, I don't care if I actually caught any. Anyway, that's not even a hobby that I've ever done. But comedy is like this thing that I became addicted to 10 years ago. And I just like, ooh, this is fucking exciting. I got to get good at this so I could like earn admiration of my peers and like feel like I belong to a community, because it is pretty fun to be in a community that's like everyone's just trying to do the same thing. That's what kind of keeps you going out. It's like, okay, I know I'm going to see people that are in the same boat as me, but then you start resenting them. It's just like, well, you again? What am I don't want to talk to you. And you do often go up to people that don't want to talk to you, or they come up to you and it's like, oh, you again. I'll be nice to you because I'm nice. It's my nature to be nice, but you're not my favorite person. You're one of my least favorite people. And you just, you know, you try not to bother people, but also you do like to go up to people because like you see them around and you respect them, but then they don't respect you back and they go, I thought we had something here. But anyway, so I don't know. So I haven't done comedy in a few weeks, maybe a week. I don't really know. I had my younger brother, Kyle, visit me from Illinois. He still lives in Illinois. That's where I emigrated from. I'm a refugee. I'm a political refugee. They don't like Trump supporters in Chicago. So I was just like, well, I'm not needed here. You guys could do your own thing. Good luck. Peace. And I was just like, I'm going to Texas where there's like not as much crime, not as much shooting crime. Like we have to worry about like, I mean, there is that. There is that, but it's just not as much like gang activity and all that jazz. So I moved here and I was just like, peace out. But anyway, he's still there. He came here though to visit moi a week ago and he left. He was only here for like 5 days. And so we had fun and he was nice enough to do the podcast. So I don't know if you knew that, but if you just go back just one episode 40, that was my younger brother, Kyle. That's the Kyle that I'm talking about. I didn't really put his last name out because I don't know if I don't want his name to come up. It will though, because we share the same last name. But I was just like, I don't really want to like put too much detail about him because he's very early in his career. So early, in fact, that he hasn't picked one yet. He doesn't even know what he wants to be yet, and that's fine. I'm not knocking that. I mean, I don't even know what I want to be yet when I grow up. So, but he was nice enough to do it. I got him pretty drunk that night. I think that was the night. I don't remember what we did beforehand. I just remember that we got vodka, and he started drinking it with Red Bull, which is a pretty fun mix. You're going to pretty much have a guaranteed something's going to happen. It's going to be fun if you do vodka and Red Bull. And so he was just like, yeah, fuck it. So we just started recording. I was on a low dose of mushrooms, not enough to make it fuck me up or anything, but it was a great episode. I think I would love to have him be on it like pretty much indefinitely. He would just be he would just be like the co-host. I think because we have a very similar background, like we're from the same family, we grew up in the same house, and we just have we had these very good conversation, like topics that we were able to go deep into. And so that's what we have a lot in common in the things that we're interested in. I would love to have him on. Because if it's just me, this will be a short episode, by the way, because nothing happened. Nothing happened, and it's not just that. It's just that I don't have anything to talk about. Except for a couple things here and there. But anyway, so what happened when he was here? So he came on a mission to see what it was like to live on the lap of luxury. I don't know. It was weird because I don't have like any form of entertainment for him to do. I don't have a TV. I don't have an extra computer that he could use. And he plays World of Warcraft, like that's his job. And so he couldn't do that. So it was like, and he couldn't watch TV. And so all he could do was either talk to me or do shit on his phone. So that was probably pretty damn boring for him. But that's what I told him. I was like, no, it's going to be pretty boring when you're here. It's going to be like it's going to be like rehab. You're going to be taken away from the things that make your life go by so quickly. Like you're not going to be able to just go on YouTube and shit like that. And so we talked a lot, and he drank as much as he possibly could. He's not a big drinker, so it's not like he drank every single night. It was hard for him to get drunk because it's like he doesn't like vodka. He doesn't like beer. And he's like, I don't like the taste of vodka. That's never been a problem for me. I've never not been able to get drunk because of the taste. It's like, if I want to get drunk, I'm going to fucking get drunk. I don't give a fuck how it tastes bad. In fact, I like it to taste bad. I like drinking shit like Malort. Malort tastes like dog shit. It tastes terrible. Does it get you drunk? Yes. Does it leave a bad aftertaste in your mouth? Yes. Is everybody going to judge you for drinking it? Yes. Do I give a shit? No. Anyway, so We had overall, I think, a good time, but I could tell he was antsy to get the fuck back home. He was ready to get out of here and get back to his nest. Because this is my nest. And it's not that guest friendly. Like, I had a guest room for him, like the first bedroom. Right, he had his own fucking bathroom. So that was pretty cool, man. His own bathroom right next to his room, which was clean as fuck, dude. I don't use that bathroom. It just sits there empty, in beautiful condition. So it's like he had his own apartment almost, except for the kitchen, which is that's what he had to share. The kitchen. So anyway, so we went out a lot. Like, we went out more than I even wanted to, because I just for some reason felt like, let's just go out. I'll show you the town. The night he came, I didn't want to go out, but then I just stayed up late, and I was just, you know what? Let's just do an open mic on the street. So we drove into the downtown, right on 6th and Congress, right smack dab in the middle of the downtown. And he was just like, he wasn't complaining at the time. He was just standing there waiting to get through this mic on the street, which wasn't, it's a mic on the street. I love it. I love Victor, who runs it. And I have no problem doing shit like that. And I didn't realize that maybe I should have told him that it was on the street. But he's like the type of guy, and there's this age difference between us. Like, there's this 5.5-year age difference where he's a little bit uncomfortable, like, saying what he thinks all the time. And he wasn't drinking that night, which was a big mistake. I should have gotten him liquored up before that. So it was a Friday night. It was midnight. And he had to stand on the sidewalk of a downtown that he's never been before. And it turns out he was super uncomfortable. But he didn't tell me that until after we, like, got home. He was like, yeah, man, if I knew it was going to be that, I would have totally not gone. I was like, well, shit, dude, we could have left. But yeah, he was, like, uncomfortable to even say that he was uncomfortable. And I didn't need to do that. I wanted him to be comfortable, man. He's the guest. He didn't have to be, like, super out of his comfort zone. So we got out of there. I was comfortable because I had my gun on me. This was an outdoor fucking open mic. I'm not going to not have a gun on me. But he didn't know that I had a gun on me. So he didn't know that he was pretty safe. I could have just started blasting if anything bad happened. So anyway, so that was the first time we went out. And that turned out to be a flop. He was like pretty, he was out of his comfort zone. But like, I don't know, man. And I was like, yes, shit, okay, say something next time. So then the next time we went out, I believe, was Sunday. We took a night off on Saturday. Yeah, we stayed in on Saturday. That's that's when we recorded the podcast. That's when I got drunk. And we were having a gay old time recording the podcast. That was great. And then Sunday, we took a little bit of mushrooms. And he was excited to take the mushrooms because I had been talking about how I've been taking mushrooms like every freaking day almost. Going on and on about how, oh man, it's so great, man. It just puts you in this orgasmic mood of like, ooh, I love everybody, ooh, ooh. But I didn't give him enough. I gave him like 0.3. That's nothing, man. That's like almost a microdose. So he kind of felt it a little bit, but not enough to like enjoy it. And like he was like, yeah, I'm a little shroomy, but then just started eating. He just started eating. I was like, okay, I guess that's it. He's just eating food. That's usually a sign that you're not really tripping that hard. If you're just going to if you're bored enough, if you're thinking about other shit, if you're thinking about like your human needs. I was like, oh, that sucks. But I took a lot more than him. So I was feeling it more. I took like 3 times as much. I was like, shit, that's lame that you're just going to snack. We got barbecue, which he liked. So the shrooms was boring for him. And then we went to this mic on that Sunday night. And this turned out to be another situation that was a bust. But I didn't know. until later because he didn't want to say, because he was being like stoic. He wasn't complaining. I took him to this indoor mic, Creek in the Cave. I showed him. We were there for like, geez, I don't know, at least 2 hours, man, because I had to sign up, and I didn't get up until, pretty late. So he was sitting there for 2 hours, and it didn't occur to me, because I'm a comic. I do it all the time, and it's like nothing to me to do certain things like a street mic, and this one happened to be a heckle mic, and that was like, to me, no big deal. Okay, they're gonna call me short, and like, I'm gonna like whoopee, nothing I haven't heard before. But he was not digging it apparently, and I didn't freaking know. It didn't occur to me to mention to him, oh, this is a heckle mic. I didn't think I would need to tell him that. So he was enjoying it, I think, up until I got on stage, and they found out that I had a brother there, because we were kind of talking before and during the show, the open mic. Now, and people were going up to me and seeing him, how much he looked like me, and okay, so they're like, oh, you got a brother. So I was on stage just doing my shit. I didn't bring him up. Somebody else said, oh, you got a brother. And then I was like, yeah, he's right there. Come on stage. I was like, yeah, come on stage. I was kidding. I wasn't actually trying to like pressure him into actually getting on stage, but then they kept trying to get him to, I was just like, can you at least stand up so they could see what you look like? So then when I said that, he starts running towards the stage and just jumps onto the stage at the Creek in the Cave, the place where Shane Gillis recorded his special, a very well-known club. This dude has never done stand-up before. He's never done anything like that, performance on a stage like that. And this was a heckle mic, and he jumps on freaking stage, takes it like a champ, and starts interacting. I don't think he really said anything. I was holding the mic still, but I gave him the mic, and he didn't really, I don't think he really said anything. But we were kind of like, he was taking it like a champ. He was smiling and giggling the whole time. And I was like, and then I just ended the set. I was just like, okay, thank y'all. And then we got off stage. And then we went outside. And he was like, yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't like that you pressured me to get on stage. You shouldn't have done that. You should have just stuck to your set. I don't like being heckled. And I was like, oh shit, you didn't have to go on stage, dude. But I was proud of him. I was like, damn, that was really brave. That takes balls, and you did well. Like, people were fist bumping us. Like, it was a good thing that we did. The worst thing that happened probably is like they made fun of us for being autistic, but I was the one who said it though. I was the one who said, yeah, we're autistic. We make a great team. We're short. I don't know. We're ugly. I don't know. I was like, who's hotter between us? And they're like, neither. I was like, okay, that's fine. So he did not like it though. He was like, yo, dude, that was not cool, man. I was like, yeah, but you didn't have to go on. He was like, I know I had to. They were all yelling at me to get on stage. I was like, okay, fair enough. I see where you're coming from. And I felt kind of bad, but also he was kind of, it's not the worst thing in the world. Like, there's nothing permanent. Like, okay, he was slightly embarrassed. Okay. So I felt bad, and it was awkward. Like, I felt bad, but also I wasn't like super apologetic. I didn't apologize because I wasn't my fault. He didn't say he didn't want to be there, A, and B, he didn't have to fucking go on stage. He could have just left. But also, I did still kind of feel like, okay, yeah, I guess I get where you're coming from. So it was a very silent drive back to my house. Very silent, long, 20-minute car ride. I was like, fuck, he's not happy with that. So that was the second time we went out. So we're 2 for 2, or 0 for 2, we're 0 for 2 in him having a good time. So let's see. So he was coming, I knew about a month in advance when he was coming. So I was like, well, I don't know. What is there to do besides take him to a couple open mics and Kill Tony? So I looked up if Kill Tony was sold out it wasn't. I got the cheapest seats available, the ones that are upstairs with an obstructed view. But I was like, I don't want to be in the I don't need to be like in the audience. It would be better, but like, do I really want to blow all that money? And like, that is it necessary? So I cheaped out, and I was like, at least he's still gonna get the full experience of like being there, even though it sucks. You have to watch on the TV. You can't even see the stage. But it wasn't bad, and he was very excited when I told him that I got tickets. He was just assuming that there would be tickets available, but I was like, no, man, it usually sells out, but I bought some tickets, baby. So he was excited. And thank God for that there was one exciting thing that we did. And Theo Von was the guest, and it was, oh my God, it was the best guest I've ever seen on Kill Tony, man. I was cracking my dick off. Theo Von is fucking hilarious, man. And so he was having a great time. I got him drunk during that show, and he enjoyed it thoroughly. Nothing bad happened. I didn't sign up. That's one thing that made it less intense for me, is I didn't sign up because I don't really have anything new to say. I don't got any new minutes to do. Fuck Kill Tony. It's not for me. I'll do it again maybe at some point, but I had my shot. I jizzed. I got the secret. Who cares, man? How many times do I gotta do it? I'll do it again. But anyway, because that really is one of the only real opportunities here in Austin, and I moved here. So anyway, after Kill Tony was over, we stayed for the after show, and I don't know, we were just hanging out. We almost left. I think we did leave, and I was like, you know what? Let's actually stick around for a while. I don't know why. Let's just stick around. Let's show you the balcony of the Vulcan to show you the mural of all the famous comedians. So we went up on the balcony. I was like, okay, that we talked to some drunk couple. Okay, that did nothing for either of us except for show us that there's boring people. Anyway, so we went downstairs and we were just chilling, and then Tony spots me. Somebody shows me that I'm with my brother to Tony. And so he comes up to us, and like I give him like a nice little thumbs up and go, hey, man, you remember me? I'm the dude who with the accent and the gold. And then he goes up to my brother. He's like, oh, you guys are adorable. And my brother was fucking stoked. He was fucking starstruck and like he was blown away that Tony was coming up to him and me and like gave a crap about him. And he asked him what he wanted to. He offered him a drink, and my brother was so stirred up by the exchange. He doesn't always talk to famous people. That he didn't even know what he wanted to drink, so he just said, I don't know, vodka. And then Tony was like, vodka? You just want vodka? You mean like vodka soda? I was like, yeah, vodka soda. So anyway, so I got him a fucking free drink, and he was blown away by that. So that made me feel really cool. And then I went up to Red Band and introduced him to Red Band, and Red Band was also happy, was also very nice and excitable and like a great guy. And so that was a great way to end that night. And then we just went home after that. I don't know what we did after that. I think we went to the creek. No, I don't even know. I think we just fucking went home after that because there was no topping that. And that was Monday night. And that's all I remember of that night. It was a good ending, I guess. That was a good night. Thank fuck. And then, what did I do after that pissed him off? I can't remember. I think something else happened. Oh, yeah. Something else happened that really pissed him off, but also made me feel like a douchebag, too. I tried to introduce him to a comic that I don't know why, because he told me, like, yo, dude, I don't need you to introduce me to people. It's makes me uncomfortable, man. But I did it anyway as this like fucking like giddy. I was just like in an excited like, here's my younger brother. Like I just wanted to introduce him to people because I was excited that he was here. But I did it to the wrong person, and he just totally like stonewalled me. It's like, yeah, great, yeah, and just kept moving. Like he didn't give any glance, didn't even glance at either of us. And like I was like, okay, well that was the wrong move. But like, hey, you win some, you lose some. Fuck it. Hey, if I don't care about that guy that much, if Tony it was cool to us, who cares? Anyway, so, and people kept asking us which one of us was older, and they kept asking us if we were twins. And if you go back to the last episode, I don't know, do we look like fucking twins? Certainly not identical twins, but I don't know. And we don't, like, do we really look the same freaking age? I don't know, but it was a compliment. It made me feel pretty cool that they didn't know that I was 5 years older than him. They're like, which one's older? You guys twins? Fucking everybody asked if we were twins. And he got annoyed with that. I don't know. And we went to In-N-Out. I took him to In-N-Out 2 days in a row, and he enjoyed the fuck out of that. But other than that, not much happened. You know, like we spitballed a lot about ideas for TikTok, because that's the thing that I was trying to still do. And like, you know, that's it though. He just went home and like, I don't know if he got anything out of it other than meeting Tony Hinchcliffe. But anyway, hey, fuck it. That's it. So anyway, what else have I been doing? Well, I'm still just trying. I guess I've been going through a reclusive time. I've just been being a stay-at-home, not dad. I'm a stay-at-home son. No, I'm not even that. I'm a one-man family, one-man household. I'm still holding down the fort. I'm still just paying the bills and trying to think about how to be clever with my current financial situation. So let's talk about that. That's a very boring topic, so let's get into that. So car loans. Holy crap, is that a boring topic? But it's something that I just haven't been thinking about because I bought this Mazda Miata back in November, just so last year. So I've had it for, quite a few months, like 8 months or something. And I've been paying about $1,000 a month on a 6-year loan at 6% APR or whatever the fuck, interest. 6% is not great for a car. And also the car was like $35,000. So I only paid off not that much of it because the interest fucking accumulates as you're paying it down. And I didn't realize how much I have to go, and I don't like paying interest. I want to earn interest. You see the difference between rich people and poor people. Poor motherfuckers, and this is Einstein, he talked about this. Poor motherfuckers pay interest. Rich people earn interest. So I don't want to be caught between poor and rich and just be middle class paying bills down but not accumulating wealth. You want things to be easier as you get older. You don't want to just be like, okay, I got to work until the rest of my life. So that's what a car payment would be if you're not paying it down quickly. You don't want to be paying $5 a day in interest on a fucking thing just for the point, for no reason, but I didn't have much cash to pay it off. So I sold the Tesla, and I do have the money to pay it off. I could pay off the entire freaking thing if I wanted to. Is that necessary to pay off the entire thing? No, but I want to be paying off at least enough where I'm not feeling like, you want it to be not a hindrance. You don't want to be in debt, especially not credit card debt, because that's even crazier. That's like 20% on average. Like, that's insane. Compound interest. So I looked at this thing, this Mazda financing portal, and I've only paid, I've barely even made a down payment on this car. So I've barely even paid it off. So I'm, according to this loan, I look like a regular schmo, just paying it off at the normal rate that you're supposed to, but a little bit like $1,000 a month instead of like $600 a month. So only, not even twice as fast. So I'm paying it off at the rate of maybe 4 years instead of 6, which is not a great deal for me because that means I'm still going to be paying thousands of dollars a year in interest. So it's like, so what am I doing? I got to pay off a big chunk of it now, make a big old down payment on it to get rid of this nasty accumulating interest so that it just doesn't feel like a burden, man. It's at 30,000 right now. That's like a college loan right there, man. I don't know what the rates are on college loans, but I got to make like a $10,000 payment at the minimum to just cut back on it and kill it off a little bit so it just doesn't feel like this big creature, this monster. You know, man? I mean, it's not going to kill me. A couple grand a year in interest is not going to kill me. But that money could be invested in something that does earn interest, that does snowball in my favor, not just in somebody else's favor who's already a billion-dollar corporation, baby. So I'm going to make some big old payments on that sucker. I'm just waiting for one to clear up. Anyway, it's just like, geez, I'm not being very smart with my money by having this looming $30K of debt at 6%. What am I doing? Because I got money that I'm allocating to long-term investing portfolios. I have two portfolios, two brokerages, Fidelity and Webull, that I'm putting in, real money into. I'm going to put in at least $50K between these two accounts. So before I do that, before I lock away money in the stock market, I got to pay off some of this debt first. At least a good sizable amount of it, at least half. $15K is not that bad to have looming over me. Then I could just go back to paying it off monthly. If it's only like $15K, it's like whatever. It's not as daunting as like, $30K. Ugh. It's just a drop in the bucket. $600 is just a drop. It's barely going to touch the principal. So I'm going to do that. It's like a mortgage, man. Having a car payment is like a mortgage. I mean, it's not quite the same as a real mortgage. Thank God I don't have one of those. But I have zero income. Zilch. I have no income. If you haven't noticed, this podcast is not very popular, and that's why I'm not making money from this. I'm not making money from anything I'm doing right now. I wish I was. Can you imagine if lying in bed all day it was an active way to make money? But anyway, so car loans are dumb, man. I mean, it's a nice car, and I'm glad I have it, but that really taught me a lesson about living in my means, is when you buy a car that's ridiculously out of your means, which the Tesla was, and the Miata kind of. Wow, that really taught me how to be more conservative with money, because it's not worth the feeling. It's not worth it in the end to just have a nice car. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody sucks your dick just for having a nice car, or at least not the ones I met. I didn't meet anybody. I tried. I drove the car. As soon as I got it, as soon as I got that thing, I just took it downtown, had the windows down, and started blasting music to advertise the mating call of here I am. Fuck me. I'll take you. It doesn't work that way. Turns out you can't just show up in a nice car and have people try to enter it. It happens. It happened once in Chicago. These two chicks just got into my car. They're like, "Excuse me, can we get in your car? We need a ride." I was like, "Yeah, fuck it. You guys are young and hot. What's the worst that could happen?" So so the finance, man. Wow, is that a big topic? The markets are going pretty sideways. They're kind of up-ish. They're up. And I'm trying to fucking make a big investment. I'm trying to get exposure in the market. I'm trying to get in. So when shit's going up, it's I don't want to fucking buy shit when it's going up. I'm waiting for another dippy dip so I could lower my averages on my positions, man. Because I got a bunch of stocks that I'm watching, a whole plethora, blue chip, mostly high market cap stocks, like nothing like too like no penny stocks, no low cap, no IPOs, but some tech stocks, some tobacco, like I got into that one. MO is a great, if you have no qualms with making money off of tobacco, it pays a sexy dividend. So I'll take some of that. I don't give a shit. And so I'm waiting for the market to dip a little bit so I could put 5,000 more into it immediately and just like incrementally over time. Because, I don't want to just YOLO into something, like YOLO into GameStop or one of these things that could go up a lot. Like Coinbase is an interesting one. Coinbase is risky as fuck, man, because that's just that exchange is heavily like they do sketchy shit, and there's nothing that special about that company, man. There's a lot of competitors, but the stock is down like I don't even know 80%. So that's an easy way to just like double your money easily, like if it goes back up to where it was just a year ago, less than a year ago. So I'm gonna put in some money in that. I don't know, man. It just feels good to just lock away even $1,000 in like a blue chip like Procter and Gamble. Some boring ass company like that that's never gonna go away, like Apple, Pepsi, and just not think about it. Just like, okay, that's $1,000 that I'm not gonna spend on DoorDash, for example, or like Gucci shoes, for example, and it'll only appreciate most likely. I mean, stocks are not a guarantee, man. That's why you got to diversify. That's why, as you get older, you just want to get out of the riskier asset classes. You go into like bonds as the most conservative, but bonds are so boring, man. And real estate is so, that's like a real investment, man, because like that's an asset that generates income and it appreciates. That's how you build wealth, like real fucking wealth, is you buy real estate and you just become a landlord. I mean, I don't think I have what it takes to be a landlord, but there's other ways to profit off of it without being the dude that's actually like, in charge of the tenants and actually communicate. You could just be a dude that just owns part of the real estate company. Big whoop. Or it's not even called a real estate. It's just called a holding company. It's not really like, it's not like, okay, it's real estate, but you just own shit. It's just a company that owns shit and profits off it. That's the dream, man. That's the American dream for me. I mean, for the people living in the apartments and paying the rent, they're screwed. They're not living fucking any dream. They're living paycheck to fuck do I know. They're working 9 to 5. They're working their ass off. But me, I'm just cruising, man. I'm just sleeping and making bank. So that's one of the asset classes that most people kind of recommend getting into. But it's even easier than that. You could just invest in a fucking ETF, a dividend index fund, which I was talking about. I've talked about this before, but I'm getting more into it. Just these index funds that are just bundles of stocks that you just buy on an exchange and you just hold them, and they could go up or stay the same or depreciate in value, but they generate these incomes or dividends, like some of them like up to as high as like 10%, and that's free money that just builds, and then you can invest it back in and buy more shares, and it just feels like power is being accumulated passively, and that's the best, man. Just seeing money flow into your account. It's like, okay, I could use this to invest in the same thing or something else, and like it just feels like free money. But nothing's free. I mean, everything has like an expense to it. But anyway, that's exciting to me. But I know I'm going to get bored of that. See, that's the thing about me. I get bored of shit. So the thing about it that's beautiful is it will continue to passively build over the years, even if I don't look at it, because of DRIP, dividend reinvestment something. I don't know what the P stands for, but DRIP means automatic reinvestment of dividends that the broker will just do for you automatically, so you don't even have to look at it for years and years. You'll just be like, okay, that was smart that I bought that. Because time, the one thing we can guarantee in this universe, or in my lifetime, in anyone's fucking lifetime, is that time is going to go on. We will change. We will get older. Our hobbies will change. Our luck will change. Our health will change. Our finances will go up and down. So the one variable that we know is a constant is time. That's the one thing we could bank on, is that time will go on. So what should we do? We should take advantage of that fact by investing our money, not just having it sit somewhere. Cash interest rates are terrible. Like, it's less than 1%. So you got to always have it in something else that pays even like 3% is a lot better. I was going to say 1,000 times better, but technically I don't think the math checks out on that. So I'm very excited just to be into the stock market in a real way with real money, $50K at least. And I'm trying to get it to $100K with those tech stocks that are going to bounce back up, like PayPal, Square, possibly Coinbase, Spotify, Netflix, and many others that are like big time companies. Facebook, Meta, shit like Amazon even is down. So I want to get some capital appreciation from the price going back up, from just the stock going back up. And then when I profit off that, sell some of it, take the proceeds, pay the taxes on that, and reinvest the proceeds into more stable stuff for long-term retirement, like the ETFs that I was talking about, that are more stable and generate big dividend. See, because this is something I learned, which is very, very valuable, is that you don't touch the principal. You know how I was talking about with like the car loan, how if you're paying the minimum payment, like $600 a month, you're paying barely any of the principal. You're paying off only the interest. Yeah. See, the opposite is true with earning money. Or, well, I don't even know if the opposite is true, but what I'm getting at is you don't want to reduce the principal to spend on something like a car. Like, let's say I have $100,000 invested. That's the principal, the initial investment into whatever I'm investing in, like a mutual fund or an ETF. $100,000, I'm not going to touch. I'm not going to go through some impulsive decision where I just go, oh, I got to sell this. I need a car. I want a fancy car. No, you're not going to touch that $100K. You're going to let it build. But the dividends, the actual, what do you call it? The profit. Yeah, that you could live off. Let it accumulate, but just the profit, some of the profit, you could skim off the top and actually live off. That's what rich people do. That's how they know how much they could afford. They just go, well, I know what I have invested. I know what my portfolio is generating income-wise, so I'm going to spend, I don't know, 50% of that at the most on my own lifestyle. And that's my limit. You got to set a limit and be disciplined. And that's it. The rest, like, this was straight from Kevin O'Leary's mouth. He's like, yeah, you could, like, if you spend it on stupid stuff, is it really necessary? No, you're going to feel better. I don't remember how he worded it, but I was just like, yes, that's fucking brilliant. And then it becomes like, you never really have to worry about money again, because you know that you're always going to have, I don't know, it's just going to build over time. It's going to snowball. That $100,000 might, even if you're making like 6% returns a year, that compounds. So it's 106 the next year, 118 the next year. I don't know. It's going to snowball.
And that's what rich people like, that feeling of snowballing. It's like just free money, baby. And
So anyway, you get it. You get where I'm coming from. Not much news on that. I'm just learning. I just learned that, like, hey, man, that car loan needs to be paid off because $5 a day in interest doesn't sound like that much, but what else are you paying for that costs that much? Not much. Health insurance is one of them, but that's freaking essential. What else are you paying a subscription of $5 a month for? Not much. That's nothing. That's a lot of money to be blowing, and my portfolio is not generating that much a day. It might be at this point, but I doubt it. It will be 50 as soon as I deposit and invest $50K. I could hit $5 a day in passive income from dividends, but you still got to pay taxes on that. That's regular income, unless you use an IRA. Then you could have this tax-free income, but you're not allowed to take it out until you're 58 and a half or some shit like that, 59. I'm not into that. I'll pay the taxes. I'm not that conservative where I want to have like a IRA. I don't know. I like being able to just take it out whenever I want.
so anyway,
That's the very boring update on finances and investing and economics. I mean, crypto hasn't really done anything since I last talked. But of course, I have plenty of crypto lying around that I'm itching. I would love for it to just go back up to like a new all-time high and sell it, take the capital gain, pay the taxes, and just put that into a real investment and just live off the dividends, man. Because you only need a couple $1,000,000 or to live off that shit, dude. Think about it. $1,000,000 is a lot of money to obtain, but once you have it, it's gonna work for you. That's at 6%. That's 60 grand a year. That's a salary that's already more than enough for me to live off, and that's just that's just 1 million. 2 million, it's 120 grand. Isn't that crazy? So that's how easy it is to stay rich once you just have a couple $1,000,000. You don't really need, as long as you live below your means or within your means, don't touch the fucking principal. I know it's principal with a P. Principal is the million. Don't touch that. The rest you could do whatever you want with. Get it? Just don't be a fucking numbnuts and be like, oh, I got $1,000,000. I could just spend that on anything I want. No. And real estate is a good investment because it stops you from spending it as well. This house right here is such a loaded, it's where most of my real money is, aside from crypto. Most of it's in this freaking house, and I can't spend that. But that's where most of my wealth is. Doesn't feel like much when it's just a solid, but it is. It is. It counts as wealth, but it's not generating income though. That's the difference between an asset and a liability. Because this house, while it is technically an asset, if it doesn't generate income, it's not really an asset. I don't think. It's more of a liability. It's losing me, but I don't know. It's gaining value though. I don't know, man. I was thinking about this place. I was thinking about, like, do I really like being in Texas? Is this really my place to be? So far, I thought so. I thought I was doing great. I made it a year with no complaints, no real complaints in terms of like comfort level. Like, I'm super comfortable in this house. It's big, spacious. The temperature control is perfect. I have no issues with that. What is the issue? Well, the environment, nature is scary. Nature is metal, and that's why I like being out of it. I don't go in the sun. If you haven't noticed, I'm pasty and my skin has no color. But is that a bad thing? No, because I don't give a shit about if I look good or tan or sexy, because skin damage from the sun is permanent. I didn't know this. I just learned this. you could get sun damage so easily, and then it just jacks up your chances of getting cancer forever. Forever. I didn't know that. Just one fucking suntan, if you damage your skin from the sun, you just fucked up. You now have a higher chance of getting skin cancer. And you just look older. It just fucking gives you more wrinkles, and it just fucks you up, dude. So when people tell me, oh man, you really are fucking white. You are the most pale person I've ever seen. It's like, yeah, thank you. Yeah, I like looking young. Yeah, I don't like skin cancer. Oh yeah, ooh yeah, I'm white. Do I care? Not at all. It's a sign that you're doing something right. If you don't have to go outside, it's like, okay, you're probably doing something right. Anyway, so I'm avoiding the shit out of the sun. Dude, that's the thing about Texas is the elements. That's what I don't know, man, how long I could last here. The elements and the nature and the bugs, dog. I thought that I was doing well in just like, because this place is new and like there's not a lot of crevices, there's not a lot of like leakages in the house for bugs to get in. But there's the ones that I'm worried about, turns out, are still getting in here. Because a fucking year ago, a day ago, just a fucking day ago, I was minding my own beeswax at this very table, just chilling, smoking herb, playing a video game on my computer, and it was about 12 o'clock in the morning, and I find this big old spider walking down just on the floor, and I hate spiders. I'm not a big fan of spiders, and I was freaked out a little bit. I was like, oh crap, that's a big one. That's not just some little tiny little baby that I'm used to seeing. If this was a new spider that I haven't seen before, and it was on the floor, and I was like, okay, is this? My first instinct was that it was a wolf spider because of the size, and it wasn't massive, but it was just bigger than I'm used to seeing in this house. It was the biggest one that I've seen so far, and so I was like, fuck this. I can't believe this is happening. My life was flashing before my eyes. My whole decision of moving here was uprooted. I was just like, I'm getting the fuck out of this place. Fuck this place. That's just what I was thinking. I was like, well, I'm moving. That's just what I was thinking. Meanwhile, I hadn't even dealt with the spider yet. It was still like hiding. It was still just, I was just like, okay, well, I got to deal with this. But I was so stressed out by it that I was just like in a panic. And like, I was just like thinking of like how I fucked up by moving here. But I was like, fuck, I still haven't dealt with it though. I'm still in the nightmare that I'm stressed out about. I was like, man, I can't believe I saw a spider. Can't believe the spider is in my living room. And also, it's still there, and I haven't done anything about it. I don't know why it's so hard for me why that's so stressful to just kill a spider. It wasn't like that fast. It wasn't like that hard to kill. But something about this spider was different than any spider I've ever had in my life. I've lived I've experienced fucking spiders. This thing, there was something off about it, and I could tell it was not a wolf spider, and there's this fucking feeling of like, this is not a regular spider. This is not a harmless spider. This is a recluse, I thought, in the back of my mind, but also in the conscious part of my mind. I was like, well, I'm definitely going to kill this motherfucker. And so I was like, okay, I don't have time to get poison to poison it. So I just smashed it with a shoe. And I was just like, even before it was dead, I was just like, okay, don't get too close. Just take care of it. Use enough force to kill it, obviously, but don't get your hands near it. Because my mind was telling me that this was a recluse, a brown recluse. And it turns out that's what it was. Because I was just like, there's no way that's what it is. That's just you being that's just you thinking the worst possible scenario. But then I got it into the light, and I looked at it up close, took some pictures of it, and it was like, holy shit, yeah, that has the violin that has the fucking fiddle on the back, which is how you identify if it's a brown recluse. I was like, well, I'm trying to convince myself that it's not a recluse, but I'm looking at other pictures online, and they all look exactly like that, even though I didn't have the best view of it because it was kind of smushed, and the abdomen was kind of covering the part with the violin on it, but it all checked out. The legs were like spinned, like very, like it just had a look to it, and the violin gave it away. So that's what it was. It was a fucking brown recluse, and I was just like, I can't fucking believe it. But it checks out. This house is very susceptible to that species because I don't really use it for that. They like cold, dark places with a lot of clutter. They like clothing on the floor, which I do. I have a hamper with clothes in it that I don't fucking touch, that just sit there. And this is the season for them. And this is where they fucking live. But it just was like, I can't believe that my instinct was like correct to think that that's the type of spider it was on with like that little experience. Because it's just the way it moved. I was like, that ain't a typical wolf spider. That ain't something you'll see every day. And so I was freaked out. So that definitely kind of fucking ruined my whole mood for the night. I was like, fuck this place. Fuck Texas. How do people live here? I don't want to get bit by one of those motherfuckers. And so I was just like, what do I do? Well, I could hire a pest control guy, but they can't stop those things from living there. They're just something you just got to deal with. But they don't tend to like go after humans. They're pretty like, they're called recluses for a reason. They like to just hide out. But this motherfucker was not hiding, man. It was pretty visible, and I was lucky to spot it. I mean, it wasn't like that visible. It was under the table right here. So I wasn't looking for it. It found me. So the fact that I saw one in broad, just in the middle of my kitchen or living room, that means there's probably at least more. There's got to be more. If you're seeing one, yeah, so that's fucking gay. So I don't know if it's considered a full infestation at this point because I've only seen the one, but I am on fucking red alert for these motherfuckers. Like they're not that scary looking. They're not that intimidating because they're not that big. But to me, I was freaked out by it. But when it was dead, it was like, this is nothing. This is a tiny little fucking thing. But it doesn't matter, man. Because all it takes is one bite and it leaves a huge necrosis. It fucking eats away your fucking skin and muscle. It could lead to amputation. It could even be deadly. There's no anti-venom. You don't want to be bit by these motherfuckers. And they are known to go in people's bedding, to be found in their clothing. So you got to shake out. So I was so freaked out by this shit, dude. But then I went to bed, I don't know. I sprayed, and I ordered a bunch of shit to deal with it, all sorts of poisons and dichotomous earth, which is not poisonous. It's natural, and it's supposed to kill anything. And I'm just going to fucking just lay that shit everywhere. I'm going to put these glue so that's the thing. Spiders, especially recluses, they have such a small profile on their feet that they barely make contact with whatever they're walking on, that you can't really kill them by just spraying a parameter of liquid poison. They just walk over it, and they're fine. You have to directly spray their bodies to kill them. So if you don't see them, that ain't gonna do it. They walk in the shadows. You don't usually see them. So to get rid of these motherfuckers, you have to use glue traps, or just a shitload of dichotomous earth, which I will be using too. And just got to get every little crevice, every little hiding place. And so that's what I'm doing, man. I cleaned. That's another thing, is you got to get rid of the clutter. That's the first step. You get rid of the clutter. You do a deep clean of your house, like vacuum every little spot and corner, which I did. And just doing that made me feel much safer. Just getting rid of the dust, man. I didn't even think it was dusty, but when I finished vacuuming, there was fucking 4 inches of like thick ass dust in there. And there was no spiders in the vacuum cleaner. So I was like, okay, it's not like I'm infested with them yet. And, you know, it's peak season for them right now. This is like peak mating season. The one I found was an adult. You just got to make it till October. So 2 more months of living on edge, and they will go back to in the shadows, and you won't see them in the winter. So yeah, once I got rid of the dust, I felt, and also I started wearing shoes, which I'm wearing still. I'm just going to start wearing shoes all the time and checking them thoroughly before putting them on. Same with any article of clothing. And I felt a lot safer now that the house is clean, because I don't know, when everything's clean and like brightly lit, it's like, okay, there's nowhere for them to go. And I got this spider spray that's only for spiders, and it supposedly creates like a perimeter where they don't want to cross. It's like, okay, I don't believe it. I don't think that really is going to work that effectively, but it gave me peace of mind to just see this fucking poison going in every fucking corner and underneath all the furniture. It just gave me a peace of mind. It's like, okay, it'll do something. It'll at least like poison me. It'll at least take a couple of years off my life, if anything. So anyway, I'm kind of getting over it. Like it was quite a shock to get over, because I was just like, okay, first of all, I can't believe a spider made it in and it's just on the floor. Second, like it's a hunting spider. These motherfuckers don't make webs. And second of all, that it's a fucking one of the only spiders that you're supposed to be afraid of. That it's one of the only ones in the country that is very medically venomous. That you have to medically relevant. They have to worry about. Are you kidding me? So that was a double whammy of a thing that just hit me. But cleaning the house really helped, and just learning about it helped. And I did so much. I just couldn't stop going on Reddit, and so many other people are finding these things in their homes, like more than one of them. And it's rare for a person to post a picture of a spider on the internet asking if it's a brown recluse, and it actually turning out to be a brown recluse. They're like the most misidentified spider, but not anymore. This particular year, every single post almost was like, yep, that's a fucking brown recluse. It turns out, yeah, sorry, yep, that is, sorry, you're fucked. It's like, holy shit. And it's mostly in Missouri, not a lot of, like Texas, yes, but Missouri, I am not moving there. I repeat, if anybody asks me to move, I'm not moving there. Fuck that, dude. That turns out as like the worst place for spiders in the whole country, especially brown recluses and black widows, which I've not seen. I've not seen a black widow. But just knowing that there's brown recluses in my fucking house where I chill out, where I sleep, where I do this fucking podcast. Like this green screen behind me is a total no-go. You can't just leave a piece of cloth draped along the ground and not deal. You gotta not. That's a breeding ground. But since I use it a lot, it's not really that big of a place for them. They're not going to hide out in a place that you often move around and use a lot. I use this green screen, like I move it around back and forth, so I'm not too worried. Also, I doused it in that fucking spider spray, which gives you peace of mind. Poison just makes you feel better, makes you feel safe, knowing that you're just surrounded by poisonous chemicals, but at least it's the kind that I used, not the kind that the spider used on me. God forbid. So yeah, I just sprayed the shit out of that shit around my bed. There's no spiders welcome to my bed, man. And it's crazy, man. That's the one spider that like you're supposed to kill. A lot of people are like they don't kill the spider, man. They're good. They're not doing anything wrong. It's like, yeah, whatever. It's a fucking spider, man. They're not endangered. Anyway, but if you kill only spiders, you're gonna get a lot of other shit infesting your house. So of course, they play a role. But these fucking recluses, I don't give a fuck about what they're doing. They're not doing shit. But that's why you got to clean, because that's the reason they were coming down on this floor, is because clearly they were looking for something. If there's even just dead a few insects here and there, I mean, you got to fucking clean your fucking house, man. That's what I've been learning. And the more I become a recluse, the more I'm going to attract brown recluses, because they love hanging out with me. They do. It turns out brown recluses like being in the same fucking room as humans. That's what I heard somebody say. It's like they only go in the rooms that I'm in. Isn't that fucking weird? Fucking creepy, man. And so glue traps, that's one of the real only effective solutions, which doesn't feel like that much of a solution. It's like that's not going to get to the root of it. That's just going to kill a couple of them that happen to be in that part of the room. But they are effective, I guess. They have some sort of bait on them, I hope. So I saw a picture of these glue traps, and they're fucking Dude, if you leave it out for like a month, people will find like they'll be loaded with spiders, and they didn't even know that they had that many spiders in their house. But that's how fucking creepy it is. Like, you don't know until you know. Until you set up like a sentry system, you don't know how many fucking creatures are just making their way. So I will be setting up many glue traps in the next week, and I will report back to talk about how many fucking creepy crawlers have been caught. And I am curious, morbidly curious, but also a little freaked out to find that out. Oh my goodness, man. Brown recluses. But I felt pretty badass that I took care of one. That I knocked one off. It's like, yep, me versus one of the most poisonous spiders in the country. Okay, 1-0. So I'm becoming tougher. It makes you tougher knowing that you're living in the same habitat as that. It's fucking hard to prevent that. You just got to embrace it. It's like, okay, I guess it's their house. And they're mostly in the attic, I think, because where else would they be? But anyway, just got to keep shit clean, keep clutter to a minimum, move shit around to show that that you can't set up shop here. I don't know, man. I'm no longer that stressed about it, but I've only just seen, it's just the beginning, man. The education helped, learning about it helped, learning how to deal with it, knowing that they're not that aggressive. They don't like to seek out humans. But then again, I've heard many people that say that they have been bit in their fucking beds. So I don't fully buy it. I think, and there's such a big population. They're not that reclusive. They're fucking in plain sight. So that's the big news of this episode, is that I got attacked by the one spider I was most worried about being attacked. It's not like I was like absent-minded when I saw it. I was like, oh shit, that looks like a recluse. Like that was my first fucking thought. It's crazy. And it turned out that's what it was. And it's like, I do think about this all the time. It's like, oh shit, I gotta make sure I gotta like shake out my shower curtain and all that. So I don't know, man. So that's Texas. That's what it's like living here. And I was just thinking like, oh man, I gotta move so far north. I'm moving to Canada. I'm moving north as fuck. But then now I'm like, you're just being a pussy. Who cares if you lose your arm, man? So anyway, the last topic of the episode is that I just started on Zoloft. I am biting the bullet. I am trying a real pharmaceutical to treat depression. It's been less than a week since I went on it. It's a pretty low dose, 50 milligrams. It's not the lowest dose, but it's, a pretty low dose. And I'm experiencing side effects, but I'm going to stick through it because I need something to give me energy and drive to get back on the horse, to give me the energy I need to reach my goals. That's the main reason I'm doing it. And I'm not a bitch. I don't know. I guess like I've been putting it off for like my whole life because I did give it a try, actually. I gave antidepressants a try, SSRIs, in high school, way back in high school when I was like 17. And as soon as I went on them, I noticed that it was harder to come, and I threw them the fuck away. I was just like, nope, I don't care about my happiness. I care about my dick. Thank you very much. So I just never even did them enough to know if they worked. So then I took a long break, and now I'm back on them. For real, though, I'm actually giving them a serious try, and I do have side effects. And I had a fever, actually, like a 99 very low grade fever, I guess, technically, right before recording this. And that's a side effect. That's noticeable. That's not a mild thing. But it's not that bad. It's pretty mild. What else? So I noticed the dick immediately, same thing. It was like fucking going right back to high school of not having my dick work as good as it did prior to going on these meds. Because I know how to use I know how to fucking finish, dog. So this shit makes it a little bit, it's not that bad though. Like it takes away the sensation a little bit, but I'm just going to deal with it because at the end of the day, not being able to jerk off as much isn't really something to be looked at as a bad thing. It's like, okay, maybe I'll just actually do other shit with my time. And also I still could finish. So it just makes it take a little longer. Okay, whoopee, more time to jerk off. But the product, like the orgasm, is way less of what I normally am able to do. It's less output, so it feels like there's like a something being held. It just feels like not as much as being released. Like I'm not getting a full release of the fluids that I'm normally, that like something's backed up there. But whatever, that's just one side effect that it's not a deal breaker. I need energy and to get me back into my product. I've been wasting time not being creative because of something holding me back. And so we're going to see how that goes. So far, nothing bad. No like real danger, like no scary side effects like they warn you about, like no like suicidal thoughts. Maybe I'll get them in the next few weeks. I don't know. But I'm good. I'm doing good. I'm going to let them do their thing, but I do have nausea. I have just some nasty like flu-like symptoms, but hey, They ain't stopping me from doing an extra long episode of this podcast. I said it was going to be a short episode. It turned out to be a long episode. How does that always end up happening? I don't know. But I'm going to let y'all get back to what you're doing. I hope y'all have a good week. It's been fun. Nancy Pelosi went to Taiwan. She did not get shot down, thank God. She's a very important person to the stock market. She knows what to invest in. Anyway, this has been episode 41 of the Tim Weichselbaum Show. Have a good rest of the week, y'all.